Welcome to One Chapter, One Thought. I'm Pastor Chris from Lincroft Bible Church in New Jersey, and every weekday I read one chapter of the Bible and offer one brief devotional thought. Today's reading is from the book of Genesis, chapter 11. At one time, all the people of the world spoke the same language and used the same words. As the people migrated to the east, they found a plain in the land of Babylonia and settled there. They began saying to each other, "Let's make bricks and harden them with fire." In this region, bricks were used instead of stone, and tar was used for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let's build a great city for ourselves with a tower that reaches into the sky. This will make us famous and keep us from being scattered all over the world." But the Lord came down to look on the city and the tower the people were building. "Look," he said, "the people are united, and they all speak the same language. After this, nothing will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down and confuse the people with different languages. Then they won't be able to understand each other." In that way, the Lord scattered them all over the world, and they stopped building the city. This is why the city was called Babel, because that is where the Lord confused the people with different languages. In this way, he scattered them all over the world. This is the account of Shem's family. 2 years after the great flood, when Shem was 100 years old, he became the father of Arphaxad. After the birth of Arphaxad, Shem lived another 500 years and had other sons and daughters. When Arphaxad was 35 years old, he became the father of Shelah. After the birth of Shelah, Arphaxad lived another 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Shelah was 30 years old, he became the father of Eber. After the birth of Eber, Shelah lived another 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Eber was 34 years old, he became the father of Peleg. After the birth of Peleg, Eber lived another 430 years and had other sons and daughters. When Peleg was 30 years old, he became the father of Reu. After the birth of Reu, Peleg lived another 209 years and had other sons and daughters. When Reu was 32 years old, he became the father of Serug. After the birth of Serug, Reu lived another 207 years and they had other sons and daughters. When Serug was 30 years old, he became the father of Nahor. After the birth of Nahor, Serug lived 200 years and had other sons and daughters. When Nahor was 29 years old, he became the father of Terah. After the birth of Terah, Nahor lived another 119 years and had other sons and daughters. After Terah was 70 years old, he became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. This is the account of Terah's family. Terah was the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran was the father of Lot. But Haran died in Ur of the Chaldeans, the land of his birth, while his father Terah was still living. Meanwhile, Abram and Nahor both married. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah. Milcah and her sister Iscah were daughters of Nahor's brother Haran. But Sarai was unable to become pregnant and had no children. One day Terah took his son Abram, his daughter-in-law Sarai, his son Abram's wife, and his grandson Lot, his son Haran's child, and moved away from Ur of the Chaldeans. He was headed for the land of Canaan, but they stopped at Haran and settled there. Terah lived 205 years and died while still in Haran. One thought. From the very beginning, God told humanity to be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth, Genesis 1:26. Implied in such a command is the necessity of expansion. People would have to spread out across the face of the world, and ideally, they would spread the glory and knowledge of God across the face of the earth like the waters cover the sea. But this is not how Genesis 11 begins. The chapter opens with all the people congregating in one mass together. And in this story of the Tower of Babel, we see both the beauty and the brokenness of humanity on full display. On the one hand, we see the beauty of humanity because we see the beauty of unity. Now, this unity comes out actually from the Lord's words, and he recognizes the power that there is in unity. He says in verse 6, "Look, the people are united. They all speak the same language. nothing they set out to do will be impossible for them. And so the Lord knows that when human beings are united, when they have one heart, one mind, one purpose, they can accomplish great things. But in this power, in this unity, we also see the brokenness of humanity. Because this whole episode is highlighting humanity's pride and disobedience. They could have accomplished great things. They were building the city, and they were trying to make a name for themselves and a tower all the way up to the sky, and they could have accomplished great things, but all of these things would have been in disobedience to the Lord. Remember, God had explicitly commanded people to be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth, and they were refusing to go. They were not expanding. And not only were they not expanding across the face of the earth, like God commanded them to, but they were motivated by pride. They said, let's build this great city, and let's build this tower that reaches into the sky. This will make us famous. And it's hard not to see the symbolism here and the irony here, where humanity is trying to build a tower up to the heavens to reach God, so to speak. But then it says God came down. It's like he had to stoop low. He's like, you think you're going to get all the way up to me? I have to stoop so low to come down to you. So the Lord comes down in judgment against the people for their refusal to expand, and he gives them different languages, confuses their languages so that they have to scatter. But thankfully, years later, God comes down again from the heavens. But this time he comes down in grace during the time of Pentecost. And instead of God confusing the languages of the people, the Holy Spirit enables the apostles to speak many languages so that the people are united once again, not in a purpose to disobey the Lord, but united in the gospel, united by faith in Jesus, because as the apostles preach at Pentecost, all the people can hear the good news of Jesus in their languages. And so we see the Lord reversing the Tower of Babel through the act of Pentecost, so that all people might hear the gospel, believe it, and be made one with God and one with each other through the gospel.